Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my gun! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Hello and welcome to Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast, because we killed all the others. We shot them dead.
Got them in the head dead. They're gone.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, and unlike some people, they didn't magically come back to life after being shot in the face.
Exactly. They weren't entitled to coming back to life.
I am your host, Matt.
Your other host, Nick.
It is very late as we're recording this, and this movie is very bad. So let's just get right into it, not dilly-dally. We're talking about Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola's magnum opus, apparently.
I'll read the Wikipedia for this one. Megalopolis is 2024 American epic science fiction drama written, directed, and produced by Francis Ford Coppola. The film stars Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Taylor Shire, Jason Schwartzman, Catherine Hunter, Grace Vanderwall, Chloe Feynman, James Remar, D.B. Sweeney, and Dustin Hoffman, set in an alternate 21st century New York restylized New Rome. The film follows visionary architect Caesar Catalina Driver as he clashes with the corrupt mayor Franklin Cicero Esposito, who opposes Catalina's plans to revitalize New Rome by building the futuristic utopia Megalopolis. The film heavily references Roman history, particularly the Caltinarian conspiracy of 63 BC and the transition from the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire.
There's something you said in that paragraph that already pisses me off because it's kind of not true in the movie.
Is it the opposition from the mayor?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really do shit. They don't fucking do shit.
They're not in conflict at all. They just kind of don't like each other.
They're beefing, but they're not like dropping beef tracks.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're not like they don't even really talk to each other. Like it's just like they talk about each other behind each other's backs. Like the real beef is with Adam Driver and Shia LaBeouf.
The only time they really see each other where they're not pleasant is when they're at that weird ceremony that's on the catwalks and everyone's just fucking hanging out. And Esposito gets up in his ear and he's like, "I know it was you who killed your wife. We're gonna fucking get you for something. Believe me, man."
Oh, what was that location? That popped up. I was like, where the fuck are they? Like, this doesn't make any...
the shit out of me. I was like, what the fuck are they doing there? Like, you can't have that many people on a fucking catwalk.
Yeah, and it's all wooden and rickety, and they're swinging around. It's like, where are they? That's not a real location. And I know this takes place in a fake city that doesn't exist, but I'm like, you gotta at least make it seem like a real place.
Oh, the other thing that really bugged me early in the movie, like the party scenes, like any scene that's supposed to be in like a big dance hall, a big dance room, you can tell it is the smallest, squariest room. It just bugged the fucking piss out of me.
Okay.
You had like 20 people on screen and they're spread out enough, but you can still tell they're in a small room. It's not like this giant club or anything.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just I know.
I'm sorry.
Dad-approved Letterboxd reviews. Let's go. I'll kick us off. This review comes from Brandon Likes, who is a Letterboxd patron. He gave Megalopolis 1.5 stars and wrote, "Francis made a Coppola mistakes with this one."
I pulled mine from Colin McLaughlin, who's a patron. He's also a friend that I play Fortnite with often. Hello, Colin. And he gave it no stars, and he said, "I wish it were either a little better or a whole lot worse."
Yeah.
I agree, Colin.
Yeah. I wish it were a lot better or a lot worse.
It's got a few moments that are like just fucking hilarious. The scene that everybody knows where Driver
Go back to the club.
Go back to the club. Are you entitled to my knowledge? Entitled, yes.
The thing about that scene is I don't think that scene's supposed to be funny.
It's not, but it is.
There's at least one scene that I do enjoy that I'm almost positive is supposed to be funny.
The boner.
Yeah, and this is the only thing I wrote down in my likes. I like the scene where John Voight. There's a scene in this movie, ladies and gentlemen, where John Voight is in bed, and Shia LaBeouf and Aubrey Plaza are there, and Aubrey Plaza is like his wife, his like gold digging wife or whatever. And John Voight says to Shia LaBeouf, who's his son, he goes, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this boner I got?" And then the camera kind of shows that like he's got a ginormous boner. And then
he did it on his own. No stunts. That was his boner.
And then he pulls his blanket off, and it turns out no, he's holding a bow and arrow, a honest to God's bow and arrow, and he shoots Aubrey Plaza in the chest, and she dies. And then he shoots Shia LaBeouf in the ass twice as he's running away.
I know. I said it to you. I said it to you as I was messaging you, hatefully watching this movie, but that and many other scenes make this feel like a stage play. Just the way that played out. Look at this boner.
What do you think?
Reveal.
And I don't know how lucid John Voight was for any of this movie. He's an 85-year-old man, and by all accounts, not a good bloke. But just the way he and he's pretended to be bedridden. He's got like one eye closed. He goes, "What do you think of this boner I got?" And I just started laughing. And by this point in the movie, I'm looking at my watch. I'm thinking to myself, it's pretty late. There's this, for some ungodly reason, there's still half an hour left. Should I just go to sleep and not care? And then he goes, "What do you think of this boner I got?" And it pulled me back in. It pulled me back in for a little bit.
God, this fucking movie. I did spend over half this movie thinking that was Christopher Walken, and I think I've done that with other Voight movies as well. would have been an entirely different line delivery. "Hey, what do you think about this boner?" I can't even do my Walken.
What do you think of this boner I got?
Thank you for bringing him justice.
It's not great, but it's best I can do.
I've never had a good Walken.
Mine's
there's one scene I really liked that I think was played up for comedy between Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf. When Aubrey Plaza's character, Auntie Wow, which is the gold digging journalist, she's like a shock journalist, right? She's like a Joe Rogan stand-in almost.
I don't even know, because at the beginning she's like a financial journalist.
Yeah, they jump around with like exactly she's hooking up with all the well-to-do gentlemen.
Her goal in life is to become part of a power couple.
I did think that was funny, but by near the end, this character who's Auntie Wow hooks up with Voight's son.
I just want to, just so anybody who hasn't seen this movie knows, she's only Auntie Wow to Shia LaBeouf, because by marriage she's his aunt.
Wait, wouldn't that make her his stepmom? Because Voight's his dad.
That's true.
So she would only be Auntie Wow to Driver, who she's also slept with.
Yeah. So I guess that begs the question: is John Voight his dad or his uncle?
I think John Voight is his dad.
See, this movie this movie's so unclear with everything.
But the fact that she's calling herself Auntie Wow, I
just want to say
perfect situation. This is step porn. You're not an auntie. You're not Auntie Wow.
I just want everybody to know her actual name in this is Wow Platinum.
She's got the one non-Roman name.
Yeah, her name is Wow Platinum.
Well, she goes up to Shia LaBeouf. She wants to betray her husband and get Shia to the top of the board and just gold dig off him. And they do it in the most comedic way. She's like, "Look at Auntie Wow's pussy." And
she's not like, what is she act when she's like, "What do you like? What is that?" And he goes, "Your pussy." Like, what is she actually pointing at? I don't even remember.
There was a noise or something, and he's down there just sniffing away. And she looks up. She's like, "What's that?" And Shia LaBeouf, without missing a beat, says, "It's your pussy." I paused the movie and laughed.
Yeah, there's that. There's that.
He sold his winery. He sold his winery.
He
It's
wrote
your
that.
pussy.
He wrote that.
It's your pussy.
Oh, he's.
And he turned to Shia LaBeouf on set that day and said, "Just be yourself, son."
Yeah, there's that Even Stevens comedic background coming in handy.
And so Shia and Auntie Wow fuck. They plot, which everyone in this movie is so fucking stupid. So you know it's not going to go anywhere. Because obviously they meet their demise at a fucking raging boner just a few scenes later.
I also do you have anything else you want to talk about that you liked?
No.
Okay.
No, not a thing.
Okay, because this movie fucking sucks. And as part of this, because everybody in this movie is stupid. So, as you said, so obviously their plotting doesn't work. And it doesn't because John Voight's like, what do you think of this boner I got? And then he shoots them both with an arrow. But how does
Oldest
John...
trick in the book, by the way.
Yeah, that's how they got Julius Caesar. But like... So he shoots Auntie Wow because, he's like, but like, how does he know of their plotting? Like, you never see him figure it out at all.
No, and
it never shows that.
There's a scene between him and Shia where Shia's put together some paperwork and Voight's not happy with some of it. So I think he kind of gets an inkling from that. But still, there's no way that he would know that Wow put him up to it.
Yeah, and there's no indication, there's nothing at all in the movie where you see John Voight like put the pieces together and plan out, or not even plan out, but just you never at any point see John Voight figure it out. So basically, all of a sudden, he pulls out his boner arrow and kills him, and you're like, oh, great, he killed him and their plotting failed, but how did he know? How did he, like, you never see it. And like, so much of this movie is like, things just happen. Things happen in this movie. And listen, Francis Ford Coppola made some very wonderful movies in the past. Some movies that some people consider to be some of the greatest of all time. And I don't know how many of those movies he also wrote, but there's a rule in screenwriting that says scenes in between each beat of your movie should be the words but or therefore. And in this movie, the words in between every beat of this movie is and then.
Yeah, I think it was Trey Parker or Matt Stone. One of them gave a similar. There's a video that goes viral every once in a while where he's like, "Therefore" or "but."
Yeah,
They got it on a poster from that video here, but
Trey Parker, Matt Stone, like they did like a seminar or whatever at some school, but like that's been like a thing for forever. Like that's one of the writing 101s. Is that between every action, between every main plot point, should be but or therefore, and this movie is just a sequence of events that happen. It's this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and it's and so you're just watching a sequence of events that make no goddamn fucking sense.
This movie is bad improv. This movie is very bad improv. There's the general rule of improv is yes and, but I think you get to a point where when you yes and everything, yes, the movie has an issue where no one stepped in and said, "Hey, Francis, no, we can't do that, or we shouldn't do that." Because this movie has a yes man problem that has a yes and problem because a bad improviser will take yes and think they have to say yes to what just happened and then heighten it even further. What results is something that heightens and heightens and heightens and doesn't give you a climax, doesn't go anywhere. The only climax was Voight's boner.
Every person, every actor in this movie is performing their role as if they're in a different movie than every other actor. And it all comes down to Francis. Like, this is his. He financed it. He directed it. He wrote it. He produced it. And he's insane. He's lost his goddamn mind. This movie is an insane movie from the mind of somebody whose brain is eating itself. Like, he's not well. I felt like I've never had a stroke. I imagine watching this is what it feels like. I was watching this, and within the first 15 minutes, I was like, I'm having a stroke.
I paused it at 40 to go to the bathroom. And I remember when I paused, I was like, fuck, there's still like an hour and some fucking change in this movie. What the fuck? Come on. And at that point, I stopped. I stopped pausing it to do stuff like, oh, I need to make lunch. I'm just going to keep it unpaused and watch it from the other room.
This movie.
I was like, I need this to be over.
It feels like, and again, I don't know how much hand Francis had in writing The Godfather or Apocalypse Now or Dracula or any of that shit. But this movie feels like he started writing stuff and then he stopped and then came back to it years later and just, instead of like reading what he wrote 5 years ago, just continued on and like did that for 40 years. And had nobody edit it, and he finished it and was like, great, let's start filming. I'm going to sell my winery.
And it doesn't look good either for a movie that's about like a utopia and...
No, it looks like shit.
Yeah, there's so much done in front of a green screen.
The green screen...
Awful. There's a scene where Driver and Natalie... is it Natalie? Yeah, Natalie and Emmanuel are riding a clock elevator up to the sky.
It's so bad.
It looks god fucking awful. I don't have the best TV in the world, but fucking hell.
Here's the thing, okay? The green screen in this movie ranges from fucking amateur YouTuber to Spy Kids. Right? Like, they're going up the elevator, and like that's like atrocious. And like, there's other scenes where they're like other places, and you're like, what a fucking terrible, like that's the most obvious bad. Like the fucking green screen on the roof in the room looked better. And then like when they're on the top of the clock tower, you're like, okay, this is from Spy Kids. This looks like it's from Spy Kids. And like, okay. And even when you can see like, even the parts where they're like on a real set, it still looks cheap. Like, there was many parts of this movie where I'm like, that looks like a porno set.
The fucking dance clubs. I go back to, they're in small rooms, but they want them to feel big. And it's like, no, I see the fucking wall. Yeah. I see the wall right there.
There's one scene, I don't remember where it is or when it takes place, because this movie's a fucking fever dream. But there's one part where like it's like a hallway and there's like desks with like, I don't know, desks for secretaries or whatever. It's like an office hallway. And like, this looks like the set of like the latest fucking New Sensations video.
I'm trying to think if there were any other like blaring examples of the imagery of the film. The effect they used for the sidewalks that were like escalators. It was just
the moving
somebody put
walkways.
a light. It was illuminated light on a walkway. I was just like, what the? This is your future? This is the future you envisioned for your Megalopolis?
The utopia that he kind of builds in the middle of this city is just terrible green screen. Like, it looks atrocious when they kind of like show it, like in the middle, like zoomed out. Like it looks awful. There's a scene early on when like they're demolishing a building and it looks terrible. Like, you can tell they're just on like a back lot somewhere in front of a screen.
Why is he able to pause time?
Yes! He has time. Oh my God, he has time powers for no reason. It's never explained. He never uses them either. He never uses them he uses them like twice in the movie. He loses
the ability. It becomes like a central plot point that it's no longer there, but it's something he's only used twice.
No, here's the thing though. Like, he loses them and then he gets them back 3 minutes later. And then he goes back to never using them ever. So like, what are they there for? And there's one point in the movie where you're like, this would be a pretty good time to use those time powers, and he doesn't.
Outside of the anti-wow, the only other scene I really liked was him getting shot in the head.
Yeah,
I was like, yes, please, more of that.
Yeah, he got Omar'd.
And then Shia's like, you made him a martyr! God damn it!
Oh my God. The writing in this movie is so... I swear to God, it's like somebody gave Tommy Wiseau a thesaurus. This is what he would come up with.
And I mean, it's shot like it's The Room.
It is.
Oh, the opening! I forgot the opening club. Like again, the shooting, like as soon as that they get in that club, they show like the shot of like all these legs dancing, and they're all so close together. It just looks so bad. And I'm like, oh my god, this is $136 million film, and this is like one of the opening shots.
Things
This is
happen.
atrocious.
Things happen in this movie for no rhyme or reason, and just as many things are just kind of like dropped for no like. First of all, the whole thing in this movie is like is Adam Driver and Natalie Emmanuel, Caesar and Julia, like their whole thing is
Of
this
course.
romance, right? But there's no reason for them to like each other, right? Like at all. It just kind of like there's no reason. Like it just happens because.
Yeah, they have that one big interaction that everybody knows.
Yeah,
And
go
from
back
that,
to the
you would
club.
go back to the club, entitled yes, yes. And from that whole argument, you would think like, okay, these two are gonna hate each other the rest of this film.
Yeah,
But no,
and,
almost immediately he brings her on as like his assistant.
and it's not even like oh they hate each other and then they slowly get to know each other like your classic Hollywood romance type thing. It's just like from that she leaves and is like interested and just kind of starts following him around, and then he's like, okay, sure, you're my assistant now, and he never shows any kind of interest in her, and then all of a sudden he does.
I could fucking see, like, the thing that bugs me the most about this film is like, if you fucking sat down and actually fucking fixed shit, this would be a serviceable movie.
I mean, it would be something. Watching this movie. Have you ever do you know when you have like a cold and you take a little medicine and and some chicken soup and you're drifting off to sleep?
Yeah.
And you have one of those weird hallucination dreams where you're like, have I fallen asleep yet? Is this a dream?
Dude, if we're gonna start talking about sleep paralysis,
or
demons, I'm
am
out.
I still awake? And then right? Like this is what's like. That's what this movie felt like. This it's a fever dream. It's like this is like I don't like somebody needs to sit him in front of a doctor and say scan his brain.
And the doctor would be like, I don't need to. I saw Megalopolis.
Like
We're gonna get you into a program.
Everything in this movie is a deliberate decision, whether it be a writing decision, a directorial decision, a producing decision. Every single thing in this is a direct, deliberate decision that Francis Ford Coppola made, and it's insane.
But yeah, to go back to the Caesar and Juliet relationship, like there could have easily been like an easy answer for why he brought her on. We have the rivalry between him and the mayor, the so-called rivalry that we don't really like. We see that they don't like each other, but they're not really fucking with each other much. But you could see like Lawrence Fishburne comes up and be like, you know what, it'd be really good if we had her here. Then we could kind of we keep her close to keep him close. Like something like that. It would give Lawrence Fishburne something to do. It'd make him more plotting, more conniving. This movie has so little for him to do that they have him narrate most of the movie.
Jason Schwartzman is in this movie and has, I think, 2 lines. He just kind of shows up to be in the background of like 4 scenes, and then you don't see him for a half hour. Then he pops back up again. You're like, is that Jason Schwartzman? And you're not
Is he the
sure.
one that had like the logo painted on his head?
No, I think he like worked for the mayor.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like Dustin Hoffman shows up, and it's just kind of like there, and you're like, is that Dustin Hoffman? And you're not sure because he hasn't said anything, and then he shows up again 20 minutes later to say something, and then you never see him again, and you're like, why? Why is he in this? Why is that a character? Why is there that one section where the fucking marching band guy goes off, and they're like, whoa, where's he going? Like, why is that in there? Like,
I forgot about that. That's so fucking weird. Where'd Huey go? All right, let's go the other direction.
Yeah, like and then like who are those people? And you never see them again, and you've never seen them before, and you don't see them since, and that's kind of shot, and like, and also like I look at fucking this movie looks at its best. This looks like a Hallmark movie.
This is film school garbage, because I look at that Huey scene And I get what they were going for because he throws down his tuba and he goes with the vapid party girls. He gives up his art to go be a part of the scene. And I rolled my eyes so fucking hard. I was like, "Yeah, we fucking get it. You couldn't be less subtle." Because then all the other band members are like, "Well, let's go the other way." It's like, oh my god, I want to take my Fire Stick out of my fucking TV and stick it up my ass because if anyone's gonna cause me this much pain, it's going to be me.
The best looking scene in this movie looks like a Hallmark movie. The worst looking scene in this movie looks like it's from a Neil Breen film.
Put more respect on the Hallmark movies, man. They're keeping Hollywood afloat.
You know what? I'm gonna say this completely genuinely. This movie insists upon itself.
I was wondering when that was gonna be pulled out.
This fucking, and there's such weird editing, and it's like, you know what? I love me a good over the top editing or scene transitions or whatever, right? I'm a Sam Raimi fan. I dig it. I dig that kind of stylistic stuff. I just watched, not too long ago, I watched Drive Away Dolls, and in that movie, Ethan Coen made the great artistic decision to have every scene transition be a weird animated PowerPoint transition, and I love it. And this movie is just the weird. This movie, every scene transition is like you just dropped acid, but not good acid, really bad acid that someone laced with something.
Which, bringing up the trips, like this movie has some of the worst trips I've ever seen.
It's every decision in this movie is baffling. None of it makes any sense.
I hate this film. I hate this movie. I don't think anything on the wheel, this wheel or the previous wheel, could be worse than this.
He has a fucking, in this movie, Caesar Catalina discovers or invents, it's never really made clear, a magical substance called Megalon that just makes everything and can also somehow fucking revive you from being shot in the face.
And it leads to terrible scenes where fucking Julia is fucking, he's showing her what it can be, and she's like on a green screen with all these terrible looking plants and like all these weird looking buildings that are basically a mock-up of what this thing can do. And the whole time I'm just like, this looks fucking dumb. This is so stupid. And it's
everything in this movie is stupid. They say that Caesar is in conflict with the mayor, but they're not really in conflict because they never really talk to each other. They barely talk about each other. Caesar's really in conflict with Shia LaBeouf. I don't know why. That's also never really made clear because, I mean, I guess Caesar's rich and famous, but Shia LaBeouf is also rich, so but I guess he hates him, and they're cousins, and nothing makes sense. But so Caesar and the mayor aren't really in conflict, but they say they are, but they aren't really. And then at the end, like all of a sudden, Giancarlo Esposito, who plays the mayor, all of a sudden is like, okay, it's fine. I like you now, Caesar. We're family because you shagged my daughter and had a child. It's like,
and you named it after me, which also happens to be the name of the director and writer of this film. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And it's just like, it's like there's no, like, things just happen and they don't resolve. It's just like, okay, this happens and yeah, now they like each other. The only bit of conflict resolution in this movie is Jon Voight's boner.
Jon Voight gets, he finds out the plot against him, and he goes out and he gets retribution. Like fucking even Shia was a fucking, he's rich boy, like trying to find his way. He fucking gets the masses riled up. He becomes a Trump stand-in at one point, and then his voters turn on him when they realize he's a rich boy just like everybody else, and they string him up. Which, I mean, that part of the movie aged poorer than anything else. Because the complete opposite happened.
Yeah.
Shit. What else?
There's a subplot.
Yeah, so he's a Trump stand-in. That doesn't resolve.
There's a subplot in this movie where they frame Caesar for having sexual relations with an underage pop singer.
Who's pretending to be a virgin, by the way.
Yeah. So she's this like pop singer. She's like 23 years old, but she's pretending to be like a 16-year-old virgin. Like it's part of her image. She's pure and whatever. And so at one of her concerts, they show on the big screen a fucking deep faked video of Caesar, and not a good deep fake either, a bad deep fake that nobody in any universe would believe. But they show this deep fake video of Caesar having sex with this pop star, and everybody's up in arms, and a riot breaks out, and he gets he gets arrested for statutory rape, and then like almost immediately it's resolved by being like, yeah, we. And it's resolved in the stupidest way, because you could easily resolve this with just being like, look at this video, it's clearly deep faked, but it's resolved by finding out that like the singer is actually 23 years old and has been lying about her age, so he's just let off because it turns out he just had sex with an adult, so it doesn't matter anymore.
That whole scene was so they're in the Coliseum. She's doing like a charity thing where like people are donating money, like because it's a purity donation or whatever for her virginity.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. And then the whole fucking stadium erupts into chaos.
It's a fucking riot. It's a fucking riot. And they start beating him up, like because he's there too. And a gang starts beating the shit out of him. And by the way, that would have been a great time to use your time powers to get away, but he just doesn't.
Well, he was high at the time. He was high.
Yeah, the one time you can use the one time in the movie there's a use for your time powers, you just don't use it, and it causes a riot, and then it just resolves like, and he gets arrested for rape, and then it just resolves literally like 2 scenes later. Yeah, it turns out she was 23, so he didn't really do anything illegal. And also it was a fake video. Like they mentioned that it was a fake video. Like, but the big thing that you're bragging about is, yeah, it turns out he didn't do anything illegal because she's actually 23. And also it was a faked video. They faked it. But she was 23, so it doesn't matter. And then
everyone was disappointed.
and then there's like a fucking scene. It's not even a scene. It's like a fucking montage of her singing, and now she's like a grunge artist.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I laughed so hard. I was like,
and
of
it's
course.
Like why? Like, I don't care. Great. So now that the secret's out that she's actually 23 and not a 16-year-old pure virgin, she pulls an Alyssa, what's her name?
I mean, name the art. Like Miley Cyrus did it. Fucking JoJo Siwa is going through it right now.
Yeah, but the one who did it first and best.
Oh, Alana Morissette?
That's it. Yeah, she pulls the Alanis Morissette, like, oh, I'm a grunge, or she pulls the Robin Sparkles, I'm a grunge artist now. But
I'm a bitch, I'm a lover.
But like, why? And like, it's showing her like she's all grungy now and singing her grunge song while the same newspaper headline from the same newspaper flashes on screen multiple times.
I loved that gag though, of it being the same newspaper over and over again.
And it's like, well, why is this in the movie? Because she never shows up again.
No.
So why do I care that she's a grunge artist now? It's just baffling. This man has early onset Alzheimer's. He's got something. He's lost his goddamn fucking mind.
What lesson are we supposed to take away from this? Like not like don't make, but like, what do you think the theme of, like, what do they want us to take away from this?
I don't know, because on one hand, it's new. By the way, New Rome is just New York but they zoomed it in on a green screen. That's all it is. Every shot of this movie, oh, look at New Rome. All they did was they got like a stock image of New York, the New York skyline or Times Square or whatever, and they zoomed it in. That's New Rome. So it's like New Rome. It's like an allegory for like the Roman Empire and the fall of the Roman Empire, but it's also about like art and like the importance of art. And like Caesar Catalina is clearly like a stand-in for Coppola himself, and he's like a misunderstood like artistic genius or whatever, but he's like an ass. It's like I don't know what the fuck this movie is or what it's trying to do. And I love at the beginning the title card is like Megalopolis, a fable. Like what does that do? Who cares if it's a fable or not a fable? Like that adds nothing to this.
You might as well just put based on a true story.
Right? Like a fable. Okay, so it's a fable. Does that add anything to this? Does that recontextualize what's going on or how it looks or how it's filmed or how they talk? No, it doesn't. Because listen, there's just cause like, okay, I've seen fables. I've read fables. I've played fables. Many of them have been very good and have made sense and are coherent. And this is I feel like watching this movie is like watching this movie is like it's like a level in Psychonauts that takes place inside of an Alzheimer's patient. Like genuinely. Like something's not right. No sane individual could have made this.
Just like watching that, like, and knowing, seeing the names attached to it. Watching this is like watching those talented people that you enjoy in other things, and like, you know, they probably attach themselves because like, oh, Francis Ford Coppola, like this will be all right, right? We'll be fine. We'll do okay in this, and then the whole set turns into Silent Hill, and they just have to do what they can.
Yeah, and like you have like Lawrence Fishburne is there doing nothing. Dustin Hoffman is there doing nothing. Jason Schwartzman is there doing nothing.
It's a lot of people doing literally nothing.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe there is an interesting movie somewhere if you made a movie about WoW Platinum and Shia LaBeouf and Jon Voight.
What is that? It's your pussy.
Like,
I mean, just
like that's a movie.
And then the boners, like, they're hilarious. Like, when the movie means to be hilarious, I think is when it's its best. It's at its best. And it's not saying much.
I think even, at least with those three, there's a semblance of a coherent plot going on. Because, like, when they're around, you're like, okay, I know, so much of this movie is you going, what the fuck is happening? Because so much of this, nothing happens. And then, and it's like, why is he even coming up with this megalopolis, this utopia? Like why is that a big thing? And why do some people not like it? And like it does, and like why is he even at odds with the like none of it makes sense, and nothing's like, it just there's nothing there, and things just happen. And but at least when those three are around, you kind of know, okay, so she's a gold digger, she wants his fortune, so her and Shia LaBeouf are plotting. Like that's a plot, that's a movie, right?
Yeah, but they don't start plotting until the end of the movie. So it's like, what are we like? Why wasn't this a scene like closer to the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, WoW Platinum is kind of plotting the whole movie, so I'll give her that, right? And like even before that, like Shia LaBeouf, at least, okay, he doesn't like Caesar and he's plotting against him. Fine, and WoW Platinum's plotting to get ahead, so like at least like there's plot in there that makes sense. You're like, okay, I kind of know what they're doing.
We know what they want, as opposed to we don't really know what Adam Driver wants. No idea what fucking Natalie wants.
I don't know I know what Shia LaBeouf wants. I know what WoW Platinum wants, and you know Jon Voight doesn't really want anything. He's just kind of there as a patsy to like their schemes. But like I know what they want, and when anytime anyone else is on screen, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like.
Yeah, why are you wasting my time? Get out of here.
I don't know what Giancarlo Esposito wants. I don't know what he's doing as mayor. I don't know what he wants. I don't know why he doesn't like Caesar. I don't know what Caesar wants. I don't know why he wants to build Megalopolis, which by the way is supposed to be a utopia, and the only thing it has is moving walkways. That's literally it. That's the only thing. It has nothing else.
Sounds like he wants to build an airport.
There's nothing else. There's no other reason given as to how the thing he's gonna build is a utopia, other than it has move-in walkways. Which, by the way, is a fucking conversation that they've made in Seinfeld. What if they replace the sidewalks with move-in walkways? That's a great idea. It'd be like the airport. You'd be zipping around. That's a real conversation from Seinfeld. So he just stole that.
He's also got a dead wife that like they use periodically for like emotional stuff with him, and then like her naked body pops up throughout the movie.
I like, oh my god, there's one scene where you just see like it's like the moon and like a hand comes out of the clouds and grabs it into the clouds, and then it immediately cuts to Giancarlo Esposito waking up in bed, and his wife is there beside him, and he's like, I just had a nightmare that the moon was there and the clouds snatched it. And I'm like, well, like, why? Like, really? Like, you're gonna have the character like describe exactly what I just saw?
Yeah, the dialogue is very matter of fact. That's
It-
again, that's why it
it's
reminds me so much of a fucking stage play because everyone is saying what they're doing. Everyone is saying exactly what just happened.
Yeah, and maybe in a stage play that would work, but like you just showed me the hand coming out of the clouds and reaching and taking the moon, and then immediately cutting to him jolting awake. I know it was his fucking nightmare. I get it. You don't have to have him literally state, "I just had a nightmare. The moon, it was in the sky, and a hand came out of the clouds and snatched it." Just it's like I said, it's like give Tommy Wiseau a thesaurus, and he'll come up with almost the same movie, maybe even better.
Like I can't decide if the movie's telling me like I can trust rich people, just I have to trust the right rich people, or that the media is bad because people like anti-wow are running it. Like I don't know what it wants me to feel about anything. I don't know if it wants me to feel like we should aim towards utopia, or if we should focus on the now and like support people now, which is what Esposito's character seems to want to do at the beginning, and then that all just completely falls away.
I've seen some people like claim or try to argue that the movie is about like the process of art and respecting art, and like, oh, you gotta like, you know, like how it's like you gotta let artists make what they're gonna make, and not like, I don't know, I guess the slop that like Netflix is making or whatever. And to those people I say maybe, but also no, and how, and it's bad. And if that's what this movie's trying to say, it's not good at it. Because if that's your theme, and I can make the claim that Top Gun Maverick has the same theme and does it better than your serious movie, you failed.
Yeah, if Top Gun Maverick is beating you out on your messaging,
Right?
which is military propaganda, pro-military film that's there to show off all the cool things that airplanes can do, and Tom Cruise is there chewing the scenery.
Yeah, it's a rollicking blockbuster. But like, I could make the argument, a pretty good one too, that Top Gun is about Tom Cruise trying to save the sanctity of movies by breeding a new generation of stars who make movies the proper way, right?
I'm sure you'd have to beat up like 20 other YouTube essayists that have already working on that video.
I'm sure. I mean, like, there's literally a scene early in Top Gun Maverick where fucking Ed Harris like tells Tom Cruise like, you're the only one, you know, of you left of your kind or whatever, right? You're like a dying breed. And Tom Cruise is like, yeah, that's, you know, I'm never gonna stop. And like, yeah, okay, that's Tom Cruise saying he's never gonna stop making real movies, and he's bringing up this new generation to respect the movies and not make slop. They're gonna care. They're gonna make movies the proper way, the way Tom Cruise makes movies. So if Francis Ford Coppola, if this is your way of saying that, I hope you know you've done a worse job at it than Top Gun Maverick. Which, by the way, Top Gun Maverick, incredible movie. This is a piece of shit.
Yeah, you can't be an anti-slop film and have a bunch of slop in your film.
Yeah. You can't be an anti-slop film and go around on your press tour decrying Marvel movies when your movie looks worse. Like, you can't go around being like, yeah, my movie's about real artists making real art, and we gotta stop with this Marvel slop. They don't make real movies. Marvel movies look better than this. The worst Marvel movie looks better than this and is written better. I would rather watch Eternals than this. I'd rather
watch Dark World.
I'd rather watch Dark World. I'd rather watch Love and Thunder.
Oh, Jesus, it's that bad, eh?
Legitimately, I would rather watch, because at least Love and Thunder, you know what? Good. It Russell Crowe with a silly accent. Immediately better than this.
I'm gonna send you a video that is 10 hours of those goats just screaming.
You know what? Love and Thunder has clearer themes and messaging than this.
What pains me is that 10 years from now, there's going to be a bunch of contrarians that convince the internet that, no, you know what? I think we were wrong about Megalopolis.
I don't know, man.
I know it's coming, and I'm already shook that it's going to happen, because that's just the way things are now.
There's already people now that are saying, I love Megalopolis. It's great.
Those people, we call those people wrong.
This is one of the, this is I think the best way I can sum this movie up, other than all the things we've already said, this is like something quality-wise, this is like you've gone through the Tubi library for 3 hours and you've reached the bottom.
This is what happens when you give when Francis Ford Coppola doesn't have any anything to reference, no source material.
This is what it's like to have a stroke. Watching this movie is what it's like to have a stroke. This is a delve inside the mind of a man who clearly has some sort of illness.
Francis, get out of the way. Let the artists make art. Go buy another winery, bud.
What do you
like? If you're a pro art movie, I think what the lesson he should learn is get the fuck out of the way. Shit like this is why you have these well-known directors that now can't get their well-known directors, writers, whoever, who can't get their next film fucking paid for. Like who's out there? David Lynch out there can't get his next movie funded.
I just think about, I'm watching this and I just think about like Coppola's contemporaries. Like Martin Scorsese's out here making maybe the best movie of his career. Clint Eastwood is out here, at 94 releasing a banger. George Miller is out here in his 80s releasing Furiosa. Ridley Scott's making Gladiator 2 and going, yeah, I'm going to make fucking 5 more movies. I don't care. I'm never going to die. And meanwhile, Francis Ford Coppola is here and just making just this. I don't even want to call it a piece of shit because that's an insult to pieces of shit.
I want to get to the end of this episode and never talk about this movie ever again until we get to the end of the wheel and I put it at the bottom of my list because that's where it will fucking go.
I've seen commercials better than this movie. I was hoping, I watched this. I pirated this movie. I watched it illegally. This is like the only time I've ever watched a movie. I was like, I hope there's an ad break soon.
I was so I so didn't want to watch this movie. The whole time going into it, I was like, this is a 3-hour piece of shit. I'm gonna hate this. And it was a relief when I opened it. It was only 2 hours and 19 minutes. Not the biggest relief, but a relief nonetheless.
Oh, it felt so long though.
Yeah, it dragged. And then just the movie ends. The movie ends and everyone's together and happy. They're in their utopia and it freeze frames on everything but the baby.
I like how they put the baby just on the floor at one point.
Rich people, the maid wasn't there. They didn't know what to do with it.
I was so hoping. You see, go back to the club. And you see that scene, and then you hear, Aubrey Plaza plays a character named Wow Platinum, and you think, okay, this is gonna be bad, but it'll probably be at least, like funny bad, and it's not. This is a torturous experience. I would rather have fucking Chinese water torture than watch this.
I mean, I jokingly will send gifs of people pulling their hair out. I was literally pulling at my hair. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why did we put this on the wheel? If
the only good thing I can say about your $150 million passion project is John Voight going, what do you think of this boner I got? Then you failed as an artist.
Hey, what do you think of this boner, eh?
Oh.
Now I just want every actor I've ever known to read that line.
Oh, I'm giving this. On Letterboxd you can't really give 0 stars, so I gave it half a star. I guess I'll stick with that.
I'll give it half a star for Auntie Wow and her pussy.
I'll give it half a star for John Voight and his boner.
Hey, look at that, evenly balanced.
Yeah. Dad movie 0.
0.
as soon as the first weird scene transition happens, or the first time it fucking zooms in for no reason, it's like a little circle, a dad's gonna be like, fuck this, I'm putting the football game on.
Yeah, as soon as someone opens their mouth in this movie, the dad's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. This might be the first 0% dad movie.
I think it is.
I think even It Follows rated on the dad scale a little bit. But this is just a flat out, a dad's checking out almost as soon as it begins.
This is so bad that a dad might not even turn to something else. He might just turn the TV off.
He's gonna turn the TV off and walk away.
Yep. Go cut the grass like he was supposed to.
Yeah, I got chores to do.
I got too much to do for this bullshit.
Okay.
You know what was really disappointing about all this, by the way?
What?
The IMDb folks did not show up for this movie.
Good. I don't. You know what? I hated this movie so much. I didn't even pick a goof because I skimmed through them and I was like, you know what? You're all correct. All of you are right. This movie's so bad. I'm agreeing with the goofs.
Yeah, I pulled one, but I wasn't like married. There's only like 5, I think.
I don't even know.
Not very many.
Yeah, this is like the only time I'll ever watch a movie and be like, you know what? People writing pedantic goofs. You're right. You're right. This is the one time when you're justified because whatever because there's really nothing else to think about when you're watching this.
You're like, you know what? You were doing something more instructive. I'm not going to mess with your art. You know what? If Megalopolis has taught me anything, you guys go get your goofs.
Yeah.
Let the goofs work. Let the goofers get their goofs. Do you have a dad joke at least?
I do. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
All right. What did the surprised copper miners say?
What did they say?
They said, wow, platinum.
I fucking hate you. I've got 2 here.
Ooh.
First one's just a statement, not really a joke. I'd rather live in Rapture. For the Bioshock fans that also happen to be listeners. And then the other one I have here is anti-WoW has set step porn back 50 years.
I don't know if you classify this as a dad joke, and I'm sure it's been done to death, but more like Megalopolis, am I right?
Whoa.
Oh, that's a knee slapper.
Mr. Original over here.
Let's spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Let's get a good
spin
movie.
the wheel. I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, fuck this movie.
Anything. Now that it's not on the wheel, I can see clearly now. Megalopolis is gone.
I can see clearly now. Francis is gone. Can I just say, by the way, Adam Driver is a great actor. His performance as the oil guy on SNL is better than it is in this movie.
Yeah. There's a reason that Adam Driver's been so adamant about telling people he doesn't watch his movies after they're done. It's because he knew he was eventually gonna have to watch Megalopolis, and he wanted to have an excuse for why he didn't watch it. Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything specific you'd like to land on the wheel?
You know what? I have no preferences. This is done. I'm ready to start out onto it. Can I see the wheel? Can I see the beautiful wheel?
Yes, I will share my screen with you. Unfortunately, this is a podcast, so the listeners will not see it. It's also not live, so even if they could, it wouldn't matter. But as always, I will do the sound effect.
Beekeeper'd be cool.
I'm really excited for you to see the Beekeeper.
I can't wait.
Oh, so close to landing on the Beekeeper, but it is Man of the House. You know what? I feel like this will be a good palate cleanser for Megalopolis. This is just a silly goof.
Man of the House. Let's see if it's streaming anywhere. Doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere, but that's okay. This is not the 2005 film. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Google, being useless Google, got the movies mixed up here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere, but I'm excited to check this out. This was a movie, the trailer played on a DVD that I used to watch back in that time. Don't remember what it was. I can report that the movie is 100 minutes long, so it's while it's not 90 minutes, close.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I got some options here. If you're in Canada, God's country, it is Man of the House is on Netflix and Hoopla.
I'm gonna get off Google and see if I can find it. Let's see here. Nope. Disney has the other Man of the House. Looks like I can watch it on Roku maybe here in the States. Either way, there's apparently a lot of movies called Man of the House.
I many months ago, when we were in the midst of recording the season 1, so I don't know. Somebody posted a clip of this on Twitter. This was when I was still on Twitter. Someone posted a clip of this where they're like all at like a dinner table, and Tommy Lee Jones whips out like he ordered a pizza, and they're like, "What's that?" And he's like describing the pizza to them, and I'm like, "What is this movie?" And I was like, "I gotta watch that," and I was like, I'll put it on the next wheel, and I'm looking forward to it because I think this has a terrible critical reception, but I mean, at its worst, this is just Tommy Lee Jones having a goof, right?
It's him being goofy, being a goofy guy.
How bad could it be?
Okay, so if you have Hoopla, which is a library app, and you have a library card, it is on Hoopla.
Oh, do you have a library card, Nick? Because you should.
I fucking do, but I used all my borrows on comic books.
Oh.
Let me see if it'll let me do it. You have reached your monthly lending limit of 6 titles. God damn it. All right.
Well, I mean, it's the end of the month.
I know. I'll probably I'll watch it next week. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Anyway,
And I'll put the screen on my phone. I'll screen mirror to my TV. Oh yeah, that'll be a nice New Year's Day.
Yeah.
God, this movie almost made me quit the podcast.
This movie almost made me quit life.
I don't know how someone so great at what they did at one point could put this out and be like, yeah. I think it's just, I mean, you look at the way the world is right now, and it's just a bunch of people who've been doing something for the longest time and not getting out of the way for the next generation to go and do it. And then
again,
instead putting shit out like this.
It's like his contemporaries are releasing just incredible works. Some are releasing like the best of their career, and he's out here doing this. And it's like, maybe you've lost it, man. You've lost your skill, you've lost your talent, and you've lost your fucking mind.
You know, pride goeth before the fall, right?
You know what else comes before the fall?
Oh no.
Jon Voight's boner.
Hey, look at this boner. I can't get Aubrey Plaza saying what is that? Then Shia LaBeouf responding with, "It's your pussy." Out of my head. Bad. It's so good.
I can't get Jon Voight going. What do you think of this boner I got out of my head?
Boom, boom. You want to cancel me, eh? Boom.
Listen, Jon Voight, by all accounts, terrible man, but I got to give him credit. Good actor.
He delivered the shit out of that boner.
He did. Anyway, that's it for us. So please follow the show on Blue Sky at Stand and Watch. Leave a review if you want. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. And
we'll go back to the club.
Yeah. Most importantly, spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody you know who likes movies that this is a podcast they should listen to. Tell them, by the way, if you really have to try hard to convince them, tell them that Steve Buscemi listens to this podcast. That's right. We didn't forget about you, Steve. How you doing?
Steve, hi, Steve. We just didn't want to, you know what? We didn't want to attach your name to Megalopolis, but we did want to let you know that we do appreciate you listening, man.
Yeah, we do. And but yeah, so that's it for the show. And whatever you do, don't tell your mother.